All right, let's dive into this explainer. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of the modern world, and you're looking for a genuine guide to finding philosophy, peace, and real clarity in your actions, well, you are in the right place. Today, we're exploring how ancient wisdom, specifically from the Bhagavad Gita, and modern quantum physics, even concepts like dark energy, actually hold the ultimate blueprint for excelling in a life full of doubts and struggles. So, picture this for a second. What kind of tree has its roots reaching way up into the sky and its branches growing downward into the dirt? I know it sounds like a riddle or maybe something out of a fantasy novel, but this profound paradox is actually an incredibly precise map of the very nature of our reality. Here is our roadmap to figure this all out. We'll start with the upside-down cosmic tree, move into the unseen roots and the quantum void, explore the leaves of conservation, swing the axe of detachment, and finally find the ultimate ground. Let's jump in. Part 1. The upside-down cosmic tree, decoding the metaphor. To truly understand this framework, we have to decode a brilliant metaphor from chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, which also shows up in the Katha Upanishad. They talk about a cosmic tree called the Ashvattha. Now that word literally translates to that which does not endure till tomorrow. It's the perfect description for samsara, our unstable, fast-paced, ever-changing material world. We get so completely tangled up in this messy mass of pain, sorrow, and constant change, don't we? It drains our energy precisely because absolutely nothing in this branch-level, physical world is permanent. To bring this into the modern world, think of a massive skyscraper. A towering skyscraper relies entirely on a deep, unseen foundation underground just to support all the bustling, chaotic lives of the people working in the superstructure above. Our highly visible, chaotic daily world works the exact same way. It rests completely on an invisible base. You can't see the foundation, but it's the only thing holding everything up. Which brings us to part 2, unseen roots and the quantum void, the science-spirituality bridge. Okay, let's map this out. The main root, the mula, is pure consciousness, what the texts call Brahman. The branches, that's the manifested world, the physical stuff we deal with every single day. And those secondary roots hanging down, those are our personal baggage, our desires, our anxieties, our ignorance. The big takeaway here is that the gross, visible world you interact with always comes from a subtle, invisible source. Now this is where it gets incredibly cool. Chapter 15 of the Gita teaches that all physical forms are just temporary manifestations of matter and energy. Modern science literally tells us the exact same thing. Einstein's E=mc² proved matter and energy are totally interconvertible. But let's look at the universe today. Think about dark energy. It makes up roughly 70% of our entire universe. It is completely invisible, yet it is the dominant force driving the expansion of absolutely everything we see. It works exactly like those unseen cosmic sky roots of the tree described in the Gita. Both the ancient sages and modern astrophysicists are telling us that the most powerful forces governing our reality and your daily life are completely hidden from view. Your solid, stressful struggles, they're just temporary energy patterns driven by unseen depths. If we trace everything back before any physical manifestation, before the Big Bang itself, physics points to a quantum void or zero-point energy. Our source texts highlight this perfectly. This silent, still ground of reality where all physical phenomena originate is a direct mirror of the ancient concept of the unmanifest root. This void, much like dark energy, is absolutely not nothingness. It is the silent, humming fountainhead of all potential existence. There's this beautiful ancient experiment from the Chandogya Upanishad that perfectly illustrates this interconnectedness. A guru asks a student to take a plant and cut it apart, piece by piece. As it's cut, the guru asks, where did the life force go? You see, it didn't just vanish into thin air. It simply withdrew and merged back into the surrounding universe, because that physical branch was no longer a viable home for it. It's a profound reminder. There is literally no individual life entirely separate from the cosmos. The root is universal. Part 3. The leaves of conservation, the mechanics of reality. Let's move up the tree, from the roots to the leaves, to see how the day-to-day mechanics actually work. The ancient texts say the leaves of this cosmic tree are the Vedas, whose essential teaching is the law of karma. Now, strip away the mysticism for a second. Karma is simply cause and effect. Look at how flawlessly this mirrors the modern laws of conservation in physics, the idea that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. It's literally the exact same fundamental principle, just applied to human action rather than thermodynamics. As you sow, so shall you reap. Every single action you take has an equal, inviolable reaction. Just as leaves sustain a physical tree by processing sunlight, this universal law of cause and effect sustains our material world. It completely dictates our experiences of joy and sorrow. What this means is that your actions matter, fundamentally. They are the gears shaping your reality. So knowing all this, how do we actually stop suffering? How do we untangle ourselves? That brings us to part 4, the acts of detachment, hacking the human experience. Remember those secondary lower roots we talked about? They grow into a convoluted, tangled mess of worldly desires, anxieties, and ignorance. They actually grow so thick that they completely smother and cover up the original, pure, supreme root. The Gita is very clear here. If you want to find peace and excel in life, you must take the strong acts of detachment and cut down this firmly rooted tree of material entanglement. But what on earth does an acts of detachment look like for us today? Well, we can translate this ancient concept into highly practical modern tools. First, you have to clear the mental clutter. Using modern organizational systems like Getting Things Done, or GTD, helps you handle your daily duties without the crushing anxiety. Second, you practice aggressive forgiveness using mental models like Hanlon's razor. And third, you relinquish that tight, anxious grip on the future by trusting and surrendering to that larger, unseen cosmic process we just mapped out. Let's zoom in on step 2 for a second. Hanlon's razor is the brilliant principle that people generally do what they think is right from their own limited perspective at the time. When someone wrongs you, they aren't necessarily evil. They're just operating from their own flawed, branch-level worldview. By applying this, you can instantly let go of grudges, guilt, and self-pity. You are literally swinging that strong axe of detachment to chop away the secondary roots of your daily social anxieties. And once that messy overgrowth is gone, you can finally see the source. Which leads us to part 5, finding the ultimate ground, the final realization. Chopping those roots physically shifts your cognition. The sources provide a kind of ladder of cognition. As you refine your mind, clearing the clutter, dropping the grudges, you evolve. You stop just reacting to raw sensory signals, and you start moving up through knowledge, into experience, and finally all the way up to sublime wisdom. You are essentially aligning your own internal consciousness with the foundational consciousness of the entire universe. And this leads us to the most startling, yet completely logical conclusion of this entire framework: Jiva Brahma Eva Na Apara. The individual is not different from the Supreme. You suddenly realize that this idea of a separate, isolated, struggling I is just a mental construct. It's an illusion. In truth, your pure consciousness is the very foundation on which this entire universe rests. You are completely connected to the unseen root of the cosmic tree. Now, if you think that sounds like purely mystical New Age thinking, just look at this. Erwin Schrödinger, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist who pioneered quantum mechanics, studied these exact same texts. And his conclusion: the multiplicity is only apparent. Modern quantum physics and the ancient sages of India arrived at the exact same truth. Underneath the chaotic, wildly swinging branches of our daily lives, absolutely everything is deeply, fundamentally unified. So, knowing all this, knowing that your seemingly solid, stressful struggles are literally just temporary energy patterns on the branches of a cosmic tree, I want to leave you with this final thought. If you are truly connected to the infinite, silent roots of the cosmos, what is one small thing, a grudge, an anxiety, a tiny piece of mental clutter that you can actively detach from today to finally find your peace? Think about it. Grab your axe and start clearing your roots.